Everyone, Blockchain Bernie here with my latest episode. Solana is at all-time highs. Isn't that awesome? Just over a year ago, we were at the bottom of everything. It was down to like $8 or so. We're back to over $250. And yeah, I mean, if that isn't a comeback story, I don't know, right? And, I urged you when it was at like $11 or so on this channel here to buy some Sol. And I did at these prices. I hope you did too. And yeah, now we're at an all-time high. But let's dive into if this really is an all-time high. But before we do that, and before we discuss, should you buy some more, just hold or sell? Obviously, no financial advice here. But before we dive into that, let me show you my favorite chart here, and that is the Sol for BTC chart, right? So how is Solana performing compared to Bitcoin, right? And while that is a relatively unspectacular curve, obviously when Solana went down and Solana came back up, that a little bit happened in this chart here. But this is a 3-month chart here, right? And as you can see, there is some uptrend here, right? You see the lows are getting higher here. So we have some support line that's going upwards here. The highs are getting higher as well. So we have that range here that's pointing upwards, right? And what does that mean? That means that Solana is rising at least as fast as Bitcoin is, and recently even more, right? And I personally believe rightly so, because Solana is something that has a utility. It can do something for you. It can earn fees. People are paying fees, and some of these fees are being given back to Sol owners, right? At least if they stake their Sol. If you have Sol, don't stake. That's not a good strategy. And if you stake it with the Xandeum liquid staking pool, then you even get your share of these priority fees. Those are the fees that are being paid like crazy recently on the Solana chain. And the Xandeum liquid staking pool is the only one that shares these block rewards with you, right? So yeah, but then let's get back to Sol BTC, and then let's see what was the all-time high, right? I've asked a few of these LLMs here. This one's Grok. What was Sol's all-time high? And it was 259.96 cents. So it was just shy of the $260 mark, right? And that was back on November 6th, 2021, so about 3 years ago. So now we're back there, or are we, right? So let's really look into where we are right now. This was Sol BTC. So let's have a look at BTC here. We're at 97,900. So it is playing with the 100,000 mark, and it has already surpassed its all-time high, right? So a lot of strength here on Bitcoin recently. And but looking at Solana here, we're right now at 253.91. So that's a few percent below the all-time high at this second, and I'm streaming live here. But let's look into it here. Let's do a one-day chart, and let's get it down here a little bit, and let's spread it. Oops, spread it out a little bit. Boom, boom. So what we see here is it was briefly at, and let's spread this out even a little bit more here. And it was briefly at 259.88 or 87. So that's just cents away from the all-time high. And the all-time high back in the day, it was just a few trades for a few seconds, right? There was not even one minute candle where it was at that 259.96. It was just a very short thing, but still, there seems to have been no trade at or above the all-time high today, but we've come super, super close, right? 259.87 or 88 as compared to 259.96. So I would say let's consider that all-time high. And the fact that we were approaching that all-time high, that triggered some profit takers, right? To take their profits. They probably have set their sell orders, limit orders already at these levels. So that is normal, right? When something comes close to that all-time high, some people say, okay, that's time for me to sell and to take some profits. And that's, you know, a perfectly legit strategy, and I'll get into that over the course of this video here, right? So we've retreated a little bit. It's a little bit of a pullback. We're seeing a nice support line here at where we're currently at, 253.38. So let's see how this develops. You know, my prediction is, you know, we're going to be dancing below the all-time high. We're going to be testing it again and then maybe retreat again and then testing it again. It can take 2 or 3 tries sometimes, and then it'll break through, right? Because there's no reason in the short term that anything will happen here, except, you know, we have some black swan events or anything like that, right? And I personally believe, you know, coins like Solana that have really great utility, they deserve to rise faster and better than Bitcoin, for example, because Bitcoin, it's not even great for making payments. And that was like Bitcoin Cash, you know, kind of forked off some time ago. So Bitcoin is, and then people say, well, it has store of value, right? And I find that a relatively weak argument, because store of value, anything can store value, right? I can buy a painting and it is a store of value, right? And 20 years ago, I bought this here. It's the Sin chronograph 103, right? And it's worth now about twice the money that I paid 20 years ago. So it's been a great store of value, right? And any other crypto is store of value, right? It's not just Bitcoin has a better store of value than others or stuff like that, right? So I believe, and I believe Solana is one of the strongest out there. I also obviously believe in the XAND token, the company that I founded myself, that's building the storage layer for Solana. So no financial advice, but if you're looking for something that can 1000x in the next 3 or 4 years, XAND token is the thing to look for. And yeah, so with the other charts here, we're at that, you know, quasi all-time high here. So the big question is now, what should you do, right? And it all depends on your situation. And, you know, I don't know your personal situation. I can, you know, talk about a few possible situations that you could be in, right? None of which, though, is financial advice, because simply I'm not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. So let's say you don't have any SOL, or you have only a small amount of SOL, right? And then should you get into it, right? And then probably a reason for, in the last few hours, this thing has risen here is we have some piece of news. Gary Gensler is about to step down on January 20th, and it's even on the SEC's website, right? So if we go to sec.gov here and go to the press releases, where are the press releases about, and then reports and publications, commission votes, contact the SEC, newsroom. How about that one? Latest press releases, and then SEC Chair Gensler to depart agency on January 20th. So that is a great piece of news here. And Gensler implemented reforms, and now this whole thing is kind of a praise of what Gensler has done for the agency, and yeah, let's praise him away, right? I think like many of kind of crazy policies have been brought forward by him, and nobody really knows who in the American public or worldwide public actually was that for. Did that help anyone? So I don't know, maybe you know. But the good news is he's going to depart on January 20th, and I don't know how that happened, or if he had any talks with the incoming administration, or if it was just his own decision. We will probably never know, but we now know Gensler is gone by January 20th. So that is a great piece of news here. Okay, so, and that also means the Solana ETF can move forward. So the agency said they're looking more and more into these requests for some of those companies to get their ETFs listed there. And that was obviously great news for the SOL price as well. So what should you do now, right? Just let's assume you don't have much SOL as of yet. Should you buy now, right? So let's see here what TradingView says, because they have that meter here. Look at that meter. They say, oh no, my picture is there. Let's put it, ooh, let's put it away. This one here. How can I do that? No, we don't know. Okay. So you don't see it here, but let me see if we can do it this way. Yeah, so this is their meter here, and it's on, you still can't see it here, but it's on strong buy, right? It's really on strong buy. On now I can do it. Look at that. Now you see the strong buy here. So that's the technical indicators that TradingView, which is a very, very reputable tool, right? And they say, well, technically it's on a strong buy signal, right? Let's look at like 3 months or so. See how that looks like. And yeah, you see that strong uptrend for 3 months and almost like a breakout here recently. So, but, you know, it's an all-time high, right? So people think like, should I buy when it's at the highest price possible, right? And that's a good question to ask, right? I think like the Warren Buffett rule is like, you know, when others are greedy or exuberant, be cautious. And the other way, when others are fearful, you know, buy as much as you can. So we're definitely seeing some exuberance here. I would say if you have a lot, you can take some profits, right? And I've always been saying that for Solana here on this channel, like, you know, if you want to take profits, that's perfectly fine. For me, myself, I've never really taken profits on my SOL holdings. Just because, you know, I sold some SOL over the past, you know, one year or so, but that was just mainly because of kind of cash management, and I needed to make a larger payment somewhere, so I needed to sell some SOL. And that's what I did, but I never did like, oh, I'm only selling SOL here just to take profits, just because I am super convinced and my conviction level is super high for the future of Solana and also for the future of Xandeum, that, you know, I don't sell any just for profit taking. And, you know, maybe I should, maybe I will this time, I'm not sure yet. But, you know, if you're in a position where you're thinking like, should I sell some to take some profits, just do it. You know, if you just have that thought and think about, should I or shouldn't I would say, yeah, don't think about if, just think about how much, right? How much of your holdings, of your SOL holdings, could you sell to get some profits, right? So that depends on how much you're, you know, how much you're up since you bought it, right? Let's say you've already made a 5x or so. you could sell 50, you could sell 20% of your holdings now, and then you have the money back that you paid for all of your Sol back in the day, right? And then you only have the bank's money, and you can let it run, right? So that's one nice strategy. And also it depends on, how much, do you see any risk that you're going to be cash strapped anytime soon? The more you see that risk coming for yourself, the better it is to sell some, obviously. But otherwise, if you already hold a lot of Sol, I personally would hold it a little bit longer. There are many voices out there that say it's going to 500 real soon now, probably even before year end, which is just the next 6 weeks or something. There are others that say it goes to 3,000, and I believe it goes to 3,000. I just don't know when. But I still believe Solana, along with very, very few stocks that are out there that are great investments, and then Solana and XAND, the Xandeum token, XAND. So here's Xandeum again. Those are the key investments that I absolutely believe in and have that great conviction in. Okay, so that's about selling, right? Holding, I've mentioned that already. If you're just in a position, you have a great position already built up. So that's kind of like my position, right? I already am super long on Sol. It doesn't make sense for me to buy aggressively, because then I would be like, I don't know, 99% of my net worth in Sol or so. I don't want that to happen. So I'm just not in a position to buy a lot more, simply because I already have so much. But if you don't have, that much, and think about your net worth, right? All of the assets that you have, and you subtract all the debt that you have your net worth, and your net worth should be a little bit diversified, right? You don't put it all in one basket. You should have some crypto, you should have some stocks, you should have some real estate, and maybe even some bonds, right? And some cash. And but if you feel like crypto and Sol is still a little bit underrepresented in your portfolio, and then obviously these percentages, right? Most people that give you financial advice say, hey, never do more than 2 or 3% of your net worth in crypto, right? And I'm breaking that every day, right? So simply because I have that high conviction in crypto and in some of these crypto assets. And I just think like most financial advisors do not, right? They just don't understand what they're talking about, and they're giving some advice based on history, which is obviously, one piece of advice that you hear out in the market. But I think everyone listening here today is quite convinced about blockchain and crypto as a technology and changing the world. So yeah, I'm in the definitely tens of percent, I don't know, 40, 50% or so of my net worth is in crypto. And not saying anyone should do that, right? You need to have that high conviction and do your own research in order to be able to do that and feel good about it, right? Yeah, so holding, for me, the right strategy. If you're already high on crypto and on Sol, just hold it, right? And if you're low, you should buy. And if you buy at these high prices, do it with DCA, dollar cost averaging. Buy a small, like almost a tiny amount today. See where it is tomorrow, and buy for the same dollar amount tomorrow. You might get less Sol or more Sol, but you average out any kind of price outliers that might be there, right? Let's say this 259 that we saw today was an outlier, and it goes back to 200 and stays there, right? You don't want to buy at 259 and put all your money in there, and then your cost basis is 259, right? If it goes down, the next few days and weeks and months, you buy small amounts at, continuously lower prices. If it goes up like crazy, well, then you're missing out a little bit, but not really, because you're buying each and every day. And of course, your cost basis will go a little bit higher, but you've mitigated risk here massively, right? So it's always worth to do that, not buy for high amounts and use all your powder in one day. Don't do that. Do DCA, dollar cost averaging, right? And then how about the sell side? Is there any reason to sell a large scale right now? So if you believe in, this is the all-time high and it'll go down and never break the all-time high and stuff, then yeah, it's a valid strategy to do that. I don't think there's few people that think that. The indicator that I've shown you here on TradingView is a strong buy, right? Look at that, it's almost full here. And and I don't think there are any signals out there that say, well, sell as soon as you can. I see no arguments here at the moment to say, well, sell large scale. The only thing is take profits, right? If that fits your overall strategy, it's never a mistake to take some profits, let the rest run. But I would still here, if you can, and if it fits your overall strategy, let it run. I think we have a very high likelihood that this rally will go on, and we'll see the 300 really soon. Not sure if by year end, but maybe until January 20th or end of January or something. And yeah, Solana's only growing. Solana DeFi is growing. The block rewards are growing. By the way, the only way to participate in these block rewards, unless you're running a validator, which is quite an endeavor. But if you otherwise want to profit off of the block rewards, liquid stake your SOL with the Xandeum liquid staking pool, and that's how you can participate. But yeah, SOL price will move on. And by the way, here's the Xandeum liquid staking. We're at 8.4 million total value locked now. The pool has just launched a few days ago, so that's quite awesome. And we're already at 33,000 SOL staked now, and our APY, the return that you get, it's just unheard of, right? Look at that. The base APY is 8.99%. That's only the base APY that you get in SOL. And why is that so high? Because we're sharing the block rewards with you, right? So we have 6 validators right now that we delegate to. That's also important. We don't over diversify into like 180 hundreds of validators or so. It makes no sense. You're giving away money, because if you delegate to 180 validators in one pool, not all of them have the highest returns, right? So we're doing that very selectively, and that means we have almost 9% in base APY here, plus the boosted XAND rewards that you get on top of that. So on top of the SOL staking rewards, which are already industry leading, you get an additional rewards in XAND tokens here for a total APY of almost 14%. So I don't know, if you have SOL and you don't stake it with the Xandeum liquid staking, then I can't help you. All right, but for today, thanks so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments what you think about the future development of the SOL price. Where do you see it by year end? Where do you see it by the end of the first quarter next year? And yeah, stay connected. Like this little video, subscribe to my channel, and go to Xandeum.network and subscribe to our email list and to our Discord, because exciting things are going to come out at Xandeum, including the launch of the PNode network, which is super exciting. So you need to get updated on that. So subscribe on all these channels. For today, thanks so much for watching, guys.